I want to get some reaction from Democratic Senator Jean Shaheen. She's the top Democrat on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. She also sits on the Senate Armed Services Committee. Senator, thanks so much for joining us. First of all, what do you make of Secretary Hegseth potentially firing these high-ranking officers, including the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff? He deems them too political.
Well, I think the only one who's being political here is Secretary Hegseth, and firing people because they're women or because they're African American. That doesn't seem to me the way the military has normally worked. It's not, he talked a lot about wanting to restore lethality to our military. Well, what he's doing now doesn't improve the lethality, it doesn't improve the readiness, it just creates political divisions at a time when our military strength has been that it is not political. And Secretary Hegseth is introducing politics into the military in ways that are not good for our national security.
I know, Senator, you just returned from Ukraine with Senator Tillis, a Republican, and Senator Bennett. President Trump is blaming Ukraine for starting the war with Russia and calls Zelensky a traitor. What is your reaction to these comments?
Well, President Trump is just wrong. He's factually incorrect. We all saw Russia invade Ukraine in February of 2022. We saw the tanks go into the country. We just returned, as you pointed out, from Ukraine, where we saw the courage and the resilience of the Ukrainian people, and we visited Bucha, where Senator Tillis and I just went to the floor of the Senate to talk about what we saw in Bucha, a suburb of Kyiv, where the Russians came in. They held siege in that town for 33 days. They indiscriminately shot civilians. In fact, that was the target of what they were trying to do. We heard from the investigators who showed us the picture of the Russian commander who deliberately said, kill the civilians because we want to frighten the people of Bucha and the people of Ukraine. They committed all kinds of atrocities, rape, torture, and indiscriminate killing, over 500 people, taking people hostage. We don't know where a number of those citizens are today. That's the person that Donald Trump wants to give away the store to. And it is, you never start a negotiation by giving away all your leverage at the beginning, and that's what Donald Trump is doing.
And I just want to have one correction. President Trump called President Zelensky a dictator, not necessarily a traitor. Just want to be precise on that. The House Speaker...
Again,
yeah, go ahead.
He's wrong about that because President Zelensky was duly elected by the people of Ukraine.
Yeah, that's an important point indeed. Yes, he was. The House Speaker, Mike Johnson, today said there is, quote, no appetite for another aid bill for Ukraine in Congress. That's what the Speaker said. Does this mean that the U.S. will no longer support Ukraine in their fight against Russia?
Well, I was at the Munich Security Conference with a delegation, a bipartisan delegation with lots of Republicans and Democrats. We met with President Zelensky. We talked to him about how the war is going. We, I think, to a person, encouraged him to keep at it. We talked about how we are supporting Ukraine. We want to continue to equip the country. We want to ensure that they have leverage as they're going into any negotiation with Russia, and we want to make sure that Ukraine is at the table for any negotiations. So I think that may be Speaker Johnson's position. I don't think that's the position of Republicans in the Senate.
Senator, we're also just learning that a federal judge has issued a new ruling clearing the way for the Trump administration to carry out mass firings of federal workers. What's your reaction to that?
It's unfortunate that this has been an indiscriminate effort led by Elon Musk, one of the richest people, the richest man in the world, who has multiple conflicts of interest as he's looking at what he wants to do with government programs and people. And the firings have been not based on expertise or experience or what we need. It's just been an across the board. For example, they fired about 400 FAA employees at a time when we know that accidents in our skies have been increasing, when we know we're short 3,500 air traffic controllers. We need those people at the FAA to provide the safety so that people are comfortable flying.
Senator Jean Shaheen, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.